I gotta really think about these intros before I start doing them. Um, Today, or just whenever you're listening to this, um, it's the semifinals of the battle brackets. We are getting down to it. I'm super excited. We have four very solid items competing for the two final spots in the battle brackets that will then go on to compete in the finals. And those items are the pen, who is being defended by my friend and coworker, Michael Cronin. You have construction paper by my other coworker and friend, Patrick Kermott. You have the three-ring binder being defended by longtime friend and collegiate athlete Tanner Willis. And you have the whiteout by friend and coworker, and as of the day of recording this, May 28th, this is my coworker who now sits closest to me now that I have officially transferred, Victoria. So, um, oh, and she's got whiteout. I don't know if I said that or not. You guys are all probably like, yeah, this is annoying, Trey. We get it. Um, but yeah. So tonight like I said, we got the battle brackets. But before then, we're gonna start with something that I did a couple hours ago. I put on my Instagram story one of those like anonymous Q&As, and we're gonna go through it. So let me pull up my segues here while I do this. And I say segues as if I plan that far ahead. You guys listen to this, you guys can probably imagine there's not a whole lot of thought that goes into this. I just turn on the mic and start going. um, all right. Okay. So I asked, just, send me some anonymous questions. I tried to leave it pretty open-ended. Sorry, Tally. Tally wanted me to be a little more specific, kind of give you guys a little bit more of a prompt or an idea. Oh, and you might hear this sound. That's my handy dandy back scratcher. My back is itching tonight. So, as it is every night. I'm sure that's what you guys really wanted to hear. But no, so I left it pretty open-ended, and I must be Taylor Swift's biggest fan because most of these questions have to do with Taylor Swift. Not most, but quite a few. So we'll start. Who do you love more, Taylor Swift or Harry Styles? Man, no matter what answer I choose, it's going to be wrong. It's going to be right. Um, I think Taylor Swift wins that one. I do love Harry. I love Harry a lot. His work in My Policeman, um, and Don't Worry, Darling. Great movies. Fantastic. I'm so excited for his next album and any movies he decides he wants to do. I will watch them and listen to that happily, but I think Taylor Swift's got my heart. Um, we'll get to another Taylor Swift one. We'll knock the Taylor Swift ones out first. Favorite Taylor Swift lyrics? Um, silence in a podcast isn't very good. I think, man, if you're a lover of love songs, anything from the Lover album is perfect. Um, but I have to go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with August from Folklore as my favorite lyrics. I think lyrically, Folklore and Evermore are some of her best work. Um, you could argue that lyrically, Tortured Poets Department is there. Um, I wouldn't disagree. Just wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but I mean, it's still very good. Um, Now that I say that, though, "My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys." That's a great song, and she definitely did well with the message there. I'm gonna stick with August, though. All right. Would you rather have every spiritual question you have answered, or receive free Taylor Swift tickets for life? Um, well, let's break this down. Spiritually, um, you know, one of the things that motivates a lot of people is religion and what's our greater purpose? Why are we here? What are we doing? Where do we go? Where did we come from? Who's up there? Who's running the show? Who's calling the shots? um, and and if I had all the answers, that would be pretty cool. Really would be. But the thing is, I would then have the pressure of making sure that I spent the rest of my life trying to convince everybody of the truth that I know, which is what a lot of religion is. Christianity especially. You know, getting people out, trying to spread the good word. Um, but free Taylor Swift tickets for life. Can you imagine the memories? And I mean, she's gonna be making music well into her 80s and 90s. I can't even tell you how many eras and decades and millennium tours we're gonna get to go through. So, um, just stay with us, Taylor. We're in it for the long run, and I'm gonna take those free Taylor Swift tickets for life. A lot less stress on my shoulders. I'll live by faith. All right, we're gonna jump back to the second question I received. This one's pretty deep. It's a heavy hitter. What are the pros and cons about being a dad? This is awesome. Um, so I mean, right now I only have the one kid. Second one's on the way. Um, Trying to think of cons. I have rows of pros in my head. Um, because I'll tear down fatherhood before I build it back up. Um, I mean, if you like sleep, don't be a dad. Um, this one's a callback to last week's episode, but if you already struggle to respect women anyways, I'd probably recommend not being a dad. Just would rather not have people like you teaching young boys about how to be men if you can't respect women in your own life. Um, if you're wanting to just be alone all the time, maybe don't become a dad. But the pros, there are just so many. Um, when people get married, one of the big things that you hear in like vows, especially, is like, I found my best friend. Now, imagine if your best friend made a best friend that was like looked half like you. You know what I mean? Like that, kind of a weird thought. Um, but like Jack really is the funnest person to be around, unless it's after 7:30, um, or anytime he wakes up. And the reason I say that is he's usually like this morning he was up at he was up at 4 something, maybe it was 5 something. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. It's 10 o'clock. I don't remember where I was 3 hours ago. um, but yeah, another pro is like I coach the Snowflake basketball team, and I've been a part of winning teams, and I've been a part of successful organizations, and like you're proud of that, but nothing compares to like the pride that you feel like watching your kid learn one of the most basic, simple, basic life like tasks that you got to do, like walking, like drinking water, eating, like enjoying a bath, whatever. Like there's nothing like uh watching your kid do that, and you're just like, man, my kid's the smartest kid in the world. He like took like 5 steps today. And then you look over to your neighbor whose kid is, 3 years younger than your kid, and they're eating with a spoon, training the dog, and you're like, well, my kid's way smarter than that. He doesn't even need to do that. Um, so I've kind of rambled on and on for a while, but just being a dad is like it's a lot of pros that are very small pros that added together outweigh, the lack of sleep and the testing of your patience and all of that. You get all these small victories every single day. Um, I'll end it with this. Like this morning, Jack was up way early, and I went to bed way late because I was trying to do some laundry. And Tally wasn't feeling good, being pregnant and all. So I was like, "Oh, I better try to go get him," because typically Tally, even when she's not feeling good, usually ends up being the one to go get him because disconnecting me from my CPAP machine is pretty rough. Um, but this morning I went and got him, and Jack isn't a snuggly kid by any means. But this morning he was all about trying to get as close as he could. He hugged on to me a couple of times, and I mean, I was so happy I was up at 5:30 in the morning with my kid. Like, I would have much rather have done that than snuggle. No, I was snuggling with my kid. I would have done that much rather than stay on my CPAP machine or whatever I could have been doing in that moment. So I think Tally's joining me for the podcast. She's been sleeping for the last couple hours. Welcome, Tally girl. Do you want to say something real quick? No, she's also sleepy. Maybe I'll go snuggle her when this is all said and done. Did I wake you up? Okay, I didn't wake her up. I kind of felt bad. I thought I did. Um, but yeah. So pros and cons of being a dad. We're gonna skip that one because that's a good segue there. Your opinion on Snowflake getting a turf field? Um, Simply put, I'm against it. I understand like why it's happening, and it's gonna be pretty difficult to fight considering where we live. Living in Arizona and not having as much water as some of the other states, you know, we don't want to waste water on grass. Um, but I will say this: Snowflake has Snowflake. I'm going to restart this whole thought because I don't know where I was taking it. Turf fields at any level are considerably more dangerous to the athletes, regardless of the sport, be it football, be it soccer. Um, Tally, are there any other? Oh, track and field. Is there any other sports that happen on the field, Tal? Cheer. Yeah, you got to go do the halftime show, and they might do some performances out there. I wouldn't know. I didn't cheer. Um, but considerably more dangerous to be on a turf field. Um, and so I think that do you want something out of those baskets? Don't take my Reese's, but you can have probably most anything else. Got a pretty sweet basket from my coworkers in HR. Today was my first day, like I mentioned earlier. So thank you, HR peeps. Um, but yeah, so it's dangerous. Way more injuries happen, and as a school, like you would think that paying that extra bit for water to water the field would be worth the safety of our athletes. Um, you know, these kids could suffer injuries that will impact them the rest of their lives over trying to save a couple bucks. And obviously that's a part of the risk of playing a sport is yeah, anything could happen. But I mean it's been proven by like the NFL and other departments. What do you got here? Well, you can have all of those. I don't want any of those. Tally got the cowtails. What's that? And an apple and an orange. Yeah. So if it were up to me, we wouldn't be getting a turf field. I already took to Facebook. All right. Is living your in parentheses, not in parentheses, in quotations, best life according to society the same as you at your happiest? No. I think that you have the ideal lifestyle that is put out by influencers and like unless you're living like them, you're not living your best life. And I mean, I know that you guys probably think that this podcast is very lucrative. I have all these sweet, sweet deals in the works, um, which I don't. But I'm not gonna say that I don't. But we have these influencers that are telling us like this is the only way to live. If you don't live this way, you know, like are you truly happy? And I think that for some people, like that sort of lifestyle just isn't for them. They'd be happier, staying in their lane and doing whatever it is that they're going to school for because they're passionate about that thing. And so I think that that's one of the things that I guess I'm noticing more with the generations coming behind me that they kind of tackle is what is the best life and does my best life fit into what society deems to be the best life? And um, I would just say, don't worry about it. Live your best life because ultimately, society's not going to make you happy. Society doesn't care about you. Um, society cares about the rules, and while we should follow the majority of those rules for the sake of making sure everyone else feels comfortable in society, um, you know, as long as you're happy doesn't infringe on someone else's happy, do you, man? All right. Favorite Olympic event to watch, and what event would you want to compete in? Um, the one I want to compete in, I haven't watched yet. It's actually really, really new. And Will Newell just replied to my story. Love the stickers. Thanks, Will. I don't know if you even listen to this podcast, but man, I miss that guy. Favorite Olympic event to watch. Um, Growing up, we watched a lot of sand volleyball. Um, and that is one. I think that volleyball is just maybe the best sport to watch. Constant action, especially women's volleyball, where you have like really good defensive players and good hitters. Like maybe the peak of like human athleticism. You combine it all, and people will say, "Oh, well, what about men's volleyball?" The difference between men and women's volleyball is the men's volleyball is just about who can get the best kill first because there's about zero defense. Women's, sure, you might lose some of the power on the hits, not enough to make it not fun to watch. And you have girls that are out there on that court that have spent their entire lives dedicating themselves to being a defensive specialist, and that like the ball that you never saw when it got hit is now back up in the air because your libero made a backwards save, like a backflip save dive, whatever. Like that's fantastic. So I would say probably beach volleyball. Growing up, the U.S. dominated, and so that was always fun to watch. But what I would want to compete in, like I said, I haven't competed or I haven't seen it because it's pretty new. I think this will be the second Olympics that it's happening. and that's the 3-on-3 basketball. I believe it's half court, um, game to like 21. It's pretty like street ball esque. Um, and I know that Jimmer Fredette is like the captain of that team, BYU guy. Um, and I, I could be very wrong here, but I believe we won the gold last year. So hopefully we can do that again if we did. If not, hopefully we can win the gold this year. I'll be interested to watch. I don't even know. Is it this year? Tally, is the Olympics this year? We don't know. Tally, are you going to be like my Google guy? Like the guy that like Googles the stuff so I know? All right. Well, she's eating an apple and an orange and some cowtails. So she'll Google that when she has some time. It'll probably be after I finish recording here. All right. Last question. Was the moon landing real? And what evidence is there to prove it? Whew. I don't know. This might get me in trouble. I don't know. Um, I grew up 100% believing that the moon landing was real. Like, why would we fake that? You know what I mean? Like, we're the US of A. If we want to get someone on the moon, we just shoot a rocket at the moon. They'll get there. We're the US of A, baby. Buzz Aldrin, he don't quit. But the more I grow up, the more you kind of start to realize the political pressures that were mounting and the importance of being able to say we were the first ones in space. And all respect to Buzz Aldrin and uh, Neil Armstrong, and you always forget the name of the other guy that sat on the actual rover and waited for them to come back. Um, but no disrespect to them, because if they did it, awesome. But I think there are more. Uh, there's more evidence pointing to the fact that it wasn't real. I mean, I'm not going to delve into the actual conspiracy theories. We'll do that here in a second. But I think that there's more evidence against it than there is for it. Because I mean, also think about it. If we've been to the moon, we were able to. I think it was in 1969. We were able to send a man to the moon. Um, why are we not sending a man to the moon now? Why not put a guy up there? You know, science has significantly progressed in the from 1969 till now. Send up a scientist, let him go up and figure out what's going on. I don't know, but that was a perfect segue on. I don't even know what day this was. See if ChatGPT will tell me. Nope, that's okay. Sometime over Memorial Day weekend, I was bored and I asked ChatGPT to tell me, um, to give me the 10 most popular conspiracy theories. Number one being the moon landing hoax. Um, Number two, 9/11 inside job. Had heard of that one. This one I hadn't heard of. JFK assassination was a conspiracy by the government. Number four, the New World Order. Number five, chemtrails. I just learned about chemtrails uh, 2 weeks ago on the Ghost Runners podcast, talking about they were just talking about chemtrails and kind of explained it, and I was like, oh, I never heard that before. The Roswell UFO incident. I mean, I've heard of it. I don't know everything that goes into it, but number seven, the Illuminati. That's got to be real. I mean, look at your dollar bills. It's got the Illuminati markings all over it. Why else would they be there? Number eight, this one was new to me. Paul McCartney's death. There's a theory that Paul McCartney died in 1966 and was replaced by a look-alike. Vaccination conspiracies, that for some reason the government really needs to make sure that we get these chemicals put in our bodies. Um, yeah. And then number 10, flat earth. So then I had ChatGPT kind of explain them to me a little bit more. And I mean, as I said, the or as you can imagine, ChatGPT just gave me some circular reasoning as to the different conspiracy theories and whatever. Then I asked them for some of the craziest conspiracy theories. Number one, the reptilian elite. I think that for 2024 in the presidential election, instead of voting, we should just have Donald and Joe shed their human skins and battle it out. Who's the premier, ultimate reptilian leader for us? Hollow Earth. The This one was kind of news to me. I've kind of heard about it, but I didn't recognize or I didn't realize it was a conspiracy theory that there is a advanced civilization that lives inside of the Earth. So that's pretty cool. The Philadelphia experiment. Um, Somehow the U.S. Navy was able to make an entire ship teleport from um, Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia, and I guess there were some eyewitness accounts, and then a lot of the crew members suffered from severe side effects like madness or being fused to the ship's structure. That's pretty crazy. Time travel government projects. Supposedly, the government has already cracked codes to time travel. Number five, Elvis Presley faked his own death. So I'd heard this, but I'd heard because he was kind of in trouble with the mob a little bit and wanted to, take the heat off of him. This one was just more Elvis was sick and tired of being famous and not being able to, go and do stuff. So he faked his death so he could go live a normal life. Number six, the Denver International Airport. If you don't know about that one, just go read up on it. It's pretty fun. The Large Hadron Collider will destroy the world. I don't even know what that is. Something to do with a black hole that we may or may not have created that could, suck the Earth in. I don't know. If you don't ever hear this podcast, it's because the black hole got to me. Project Blue Beam. Um, I guess NASA and the United Nations are gonna create some advanced holographic technologies to project images of religious figures across the sky to create simulated second coming or alien invasions. Um, they'll do this to then create a new world order and religion. Black helicopters is that the government is using just unmarked helicopters to spy on us outside of what is considered to be normal and legal surveillance. And then this one was really fun. Finland does not exist. Finland is a fabricated country. This is what ChatGPT said. The Finland doesn't exist theory posits that Finland is a fabricated country created by global powers to control fishing rights in the Baltic Sea. Proponents argue that the concept of Finland was invented by Japan and the Soviet Union during the Cold War to maintain exclusive access to the region's abundant fish stocks. They suggested that maps, global positioning systems, and flight paths have been altered to perpetuate this deception. Supporters claim that Finnish culture, language, and people are constructs of relocated citizens from nearby countries, and that the area believed to be Finland is actually part of the Baltic Sea. And then I asked for the 10 most dangerous. Number one, COVID-19 is a hoax. Definitely know that one was. I mean, it wasn't a hoax. People were getting sick with it. I was sick with it. My wife was sick with it. I did make this joke to my coworker the other day that you know, for some people, in all seriousness, uh, COVID was a very serious thing. People got really sick, and it was a very scary time. For me, and I'm not saying that I'm like the epitome of health and whatever, but I had about 12 hours of like body aches and like tremors a little bit, like I was like shaking a little bit. Um, by the time those 12 hours were up and I was able to go in and get tested, I was already fine again. And so, if that was all that it was, um, I'll take another round, stay home. Vaccines cause autism. I've gotten about every uh, vaccine there is, and I may be autistic. I don't know. I've never been diagnosed, but I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I am. I'll let you guys decide that, and I can be your argument if you need it. QAnon, that's a fun one. This one was one of my favorites when this theory came out that 5G technology was linked to COVID, and that like the that COVID-19 could like ride 5G signals to get to more people. Um, I didn't read down this far, so these are all news to me. I mean, I might know what they are, but I don't remember seeing these. White genocide. Um, the white genocide. Oh, geez, this is definitely like white supremacy. The white genocide theory claims that there is a deliberate plan to reduce or eliminate the white population through immigration, interracial relationships, and policies that favor minorities. Wow. Climate change is a hoax. I'm not even going to delve into that. I'm not smart enough. The Holocaust did not happen. That's messed up. I'm not doing that. We got a repetition of 9/11 was an inside job. 9, Sandy Hook was a false flag operation. Not even going to dive into that one. We all saw what happened when someone thought they were smart enough to tackle that. Now, this is my kind of conspiracy theory. Pizzagate. Was Justin Bieber eating human pizza? Was Justin Bieber being the human pizza? I don't know. But I can't believe that Hillary Clinton has a pizza shop and we didn't even know about it. Um, but yeah, so those were conspiracy theories. Um, let me know what conspiracy theories you guys are currently entertaining because I find these to be super entertaining. It's almost like having like nonfiction information, but for the most part, it's all fake. So then it's like, yeah, that fun fiction to it as well. Um, but yeah, let's see. We're 32 minutes into it. That's longer than all the other battle brackets have been. Well, I'm not going to make you guys wait anymore. Um, like I said earlier, some fantastic matchups here. You got the pen going against construction paper. Two really good friends at work, spend a lot of time together, going head to head. So good luck, Michael and Patrick. May the best man win. And then you have Tanner going up against Victoria, two people who have absolutely steamrolled their way to their positions now. So we'll start with the pen.
Pens versus construction paper. Did you know that one of the most popular colors of construction paper is known as Perkins Mauve? It was named after the guy that invented it using a chemical called aniline. Did you also know that one of the number one producers of aniline was Germany until the early 1900s, where they changed production for the dye for its other uses as explosives and poisonous gases? This questionable relationship was touched on by a 1941 Times magazine article where they were talking about the potential sale of the second largest producer of aniline in the world. However, they had recently changed their German name in order to avoid suspicion of Nazi infiltration. A young Dr. Werner Karl Gabler, who was notably blonde haired and blue eyed, had denied these allegations, but it was still blacklisted by the US and England for what they believed to be Nazi affiliations. There was an earlier argument made that Hitler used rulers. I'm going to make the opposite argument that Hitler did not use construction paper because he needed it for its other uses. When the time came for action to stand up to the Nazis, construction paper moved out of the way, and we should be able to recognize that.
All right. So that was the pen. Let's listen to construction paper.
All right, guys, we're at the semifinal round. Construction paper versus pens. Things are getting serious, so we're going to pull off the gloves. We're going to make them fight. I know you're thinking, why would they fight? How would they fight? Are you just talking crazy, Patrick? Well, maybe. But let's look at the facts here. We know that scissors beats paper. We know that a pair of scissors is basically two knives put together, two swords, if you will. And we do know that the pen is mightier than the sword. At least that's what they say. Sounds fishy, but we'll call it equal just to give them the benefit of the doubt. So even if that's true, that means that we've got two pens to take down one piece of paper. The math is not hard. The construction paper is twice as good. The science is simple. Construction paper is mightier than the pen.
As I said before, good luck. You guys are going to need it because those are some fantastic arguments there. So now let's listen to the three-ring binder. Tanner, take us away.
So I'll be willing to bet that almost every person listening here has never actually bought in whiteout more than 3 times in their life. I bet you've never even actually used it more than 10 times in your life. And the times that you do use it, say you try to white out something you wrote with a pen, and then you try to write back over it. First of all, most of the time the pen is just going to rip it back off the paper. If it doesn't rip it off, the pen doesn't even show up on the whiteout and you can't even read what you're trying to write. So you might as well just scribble it out with the pen in the first place. And the thing with whiteout as well, I had liquid glue last week. It's not the greatest glue, but you could at least do like fun craft projects and science projects with it. Whiteout, I mean, it just doesn't work and there's nothing else you can do about it.
All right, and Victoria rounding us out here with the whiteout.
Hi, this is Victoria again. I believe that whiteout is better than a three-ring binder. The reasons are that you don't have much use for a binder other than holding paper. With a binder, the rings can break and the sleeves on the sides can break too. With whiteout, everything comes out neatly and nicely, and nothing ever breaks. And you can fit whiteout in your pocket, and a three-ring binder you cannot.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, loners. Ooh, I apologize. Just hit my own mic. Go to Instagram. The polls are live now. And vote. Vote for the winner out of each of those matchups. Winner will advance to the finals. Now, just as a little bit of a foreshadowing, if you will, the end of battle brackets, the winner, just when you think that they've won, just stick around. There's more coming. So go ahead and vote on those. And while you're at it, leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I don't think that anyone, well, I guess I have some listeners on YouTube, Amazon, whatever, wherever you're listening to this. I'm sure they have a rating system. Everywhere does. So figure it out. Leave me a review. If you leave me a good review, I will read it. Maybe not on the podcast, but I will read it. I may shed a tear over it. I'll probably for sure read it on the podcast. So if there's something you really, really want me to say verbatim, that's probably the best way to do it. And then I almost forgot. We went this entire 35 minutes and 43 seconds and did not talk about what happened a week ago on Thursday evening, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. 21 Pilots released Clancy. And it was fantastic. I had some pretty high expectations for it. And I would venture to say that it exceeded those. So quickly, I'm not even going to explain it. I'm just going to give you my my order from least favorite to most favorite. So the least favorite song is the first one. So don't jump at me if you're like, oh, that's your favorite. No, first one is my least favorite. Last song, most favorite. So I'm going to go least favorite is number 12 on the album, At the Risk of Feeling Dumb. Good song, great message. Just wasn't my cup of tea. So that was number 13 in terms of how favorite it was. Number 12, I'm going to go Overcompensate. That intro, fantastic. Yeah. Number 11, I'm going to go to Snap Back. Again, I really like the music to it. I like the lyrics. Number 4, Midwest. Number 4, that's the track number. But this would be number 10 in terms of how favorite it is. Midwest Indigo. Then we're going to go to the vignette. Then we're going to jump to Navigating, Routines in the Night, Next Semester, Backslide, The Craving. Then I'm probably going to go Oldie Station, Paladin Straight, and Lavish. So that was my favorite 21 Pilots songs, ranked in order from least favorite to most favorite. So go listen to Clancy. Potentially there's a double album coming out. Maybe there's rumors that it's going to be June 18th. Let's go look at the calendar. I didn't even look at what day that was. That's Josh's birthday. Calendar. Let's jump over to June. June 18th that's a Tuesday. Anyways, or it might be June 25th, according to some of the clues that the 21 Pilots click is picked up on. But yeah, go listen to it so you're ready for more in case it does come. They might pull a Taylor Swift on us. Give us more music within the same year. Yeah. Reminder, go vote. I need you guys to vote. These people need you to vote. These people have spent an entire minute of their week prepping this argument. So let them hear it. Tell them you appreciate them. And since none of you guys are talking to me right now because it's a podcast and it's a recording, so I can't hear you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and end it right here. Unless you guys have anything. No? All right. That's cool. See you guys next week.